Hi everybody, I'm Dorothy Morgan. I want to talk to you today about this pattern of configurations of transits that are happening right now as we get closer and closer to the new moon, which will be on June 25th. I have a separate video about the new moon coming. It's already out. This aspect there's 5 aspects, so 5 quincunxes. It's called the Double Yod Key. It is the finger of God times 2. Very big, important energy going on as we're getting to the new moon, meaning, I'm going to tell you what every one of these aspects mean. It gives us a period and an opportunity to release as we're in that very end of the lunar phase, so the waning lunar phase. We have an opportunity to release, let go, and address things that are giving us trouble. Here is what a double yod key looks like. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planets involved, since Jupiter and the Sun are conjunct, Neptune and Aries are conjunct, and we have 1 yod right there from Mars, and to Mars we have the Sun, Jupiter to Pluto, and Pluto, Mars. So we have these 2 yods called the double yod key, called the finger of God, times 2, all creating a lot of stress and tension. And one of the number one things that I feel is this Mars in Virgo is one of the bigger issues here, because we're trying to hone in and focus on the details that are important to us. Let me bring it back to my face. So with Mars at the apex of one of these yods, the one to Pluto, Mars, down to the Saturn, Neptune, there's a lot of stress because that Mars wants to take action. Moving itself through the sign of Virgo means we're going to be honing in on the details. And we're going to get stuck on these details. We're going to want to be, we feel like we want to be productive, but it's hard to feel productive when we have, coming from 2 different angles, these energies that are slowing Mars down. So in a nutshell, the tension that is pointing towards that Mars, in essence pointing towards us and what it is we need to do. It doesn't mean things are broken. It just means that we need to see that tension and see what the issue is, so we can sit back and problem solve and work on letting some things go. And then we have the Sun Jupiter conjunct in Cancer, making a quincunx aspect to Pluto, and again that Pluto over there to Mars. This means there's a strong component around our emotions, how we're feeling. Do we feel safe and secure? I really covered a lot of this in that new moon forecast in Cancer, because this is all part of that new moon. But before we get to the new moon, we're in that last quarter, and just days before the new moon is that balsamic lunar phase, where we're really in a period of reflection and clearing away any of the emotional clutter that is here. The Jupiter, Sun-Jupiter conjunction with the quincunx to Pluto creates a lot of opportunity for us to really let go of what isn't working anymore. And how do we do that? We do that by, we recognize, let me hold my wiggling. We recognize it by knowing what it is that we don't want, which means there is some things in our worlds, in our own personal lives, even in this country, it's just a mess, and it's stirring up some insecurities and fears for a lot of people. And these aspects, these quincunxes, which create this double yod key between June 19 and June 24, is bringing the things to a head. What you're incredibly insecure about, and what steps do you need to take. And sometimes we have to figure out what we want to work on and what we don't. And I say that for a 3rd or 4th time. We're doing this because we're in that balsamic lunar phase. These aspects are happening the last week of this lunar phase, and it is creating a lot of issues. I know I usually do just quick uplifting little bits of astrology bits here, but this is something that's super important. I have a blog post about it. I have a blog post about Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Aries, the new moon, and this double yod key. So go and read it, and I have it all lined out for you. It's on my website, DorothyMorganAstrologer.com. Just click on blog and you can read all the different posts I have. It is important to watch this play out, and I think it's really important in any instance that you cannot take action, don't. The only action I think is important for us to take is the action of understanding that I can't control this or I can't control that. What steps can I take for myself? These are just super important things that we should be paying attention to in our own lives, because there's only so much we can control, right? But these aspects are creating a lot of chaos in the world, and it does sink into our lives, and we need to figure out how we can contribute and how it is just messing you up. And so I want you to do that as we're moving towards that new moon in Cancer. So don't force anything this week. Ask better questions of yourself or wherever you need information, and just prepare for what we have to come, which will be newer energy down the road. Some next week, but little pieces is what counts right now. It really does. Don't forget to hit all the buttons. Comment, like, share. Thank you. Namaste.